The trailer was good because it gave enough of the storyline away for you to go and watch it, and it raised my heartbeat a bit. But it didn't give too much away, so it attracted me to go and watch it at the cinema, for example.
I think that there are a good variety of camera shots, which keeps it interesting, and that helps the audience engage with it.
In relation to your trailer, I think that the music works well with what's going on the screen because it kind of relates and links quite well.
One thing I liked about the trailer was the colour grading. It was like, you could see had like a cold filter to it, and it was very grungy, and you can see that in almost any thriller film, so it did like meet the conventions there.
A slight limitation could be there's not many animations used within the trailer, and if more animations would do this, it might make it a bit more exciting and maybe attract a wider range of target audience.
For an improvement, I think that there could be more dialogue so that you can understand the plot more. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
And to improve it, I think you should include like titles of actors, like displayed throughout it, not all at once, but segregated around.
One improvement you could make would be maybe the storyline itself. The main character seems to like walk through the same door twice, and this could throw some people off. So yeah, maybe have a bit more of a structure. So maybe have a bit more of a structure to it. So have some slower shots to start off with, and the quicker shots at the end, and yeah, just get that storyline a bit clearer.
So that was some of the feedback I received from my trailer, and these opinions have helped to give me a different point of view on my work. Hearing feedback from someone else's perspective is very useful because when it comes to your own work you've created yourself, you often find that you've spent so much time looking at smaller details of the trailer. You might notice small imperfections that other people might not notice, or you might have missed something that another person has been able to pick up on. By hearing what people liked about the trailer and also what they think could be improved is extremely constructive to my work, as it means if I came to do this piece of work again, I could go back and fix these improvements to make it better and better each time. However, I did appreciate the positive comments on my trailer too, and for now I will leave it as it is because generally it did seem as if it connected with my target audience and they were able to enjoy it. A key piece of feedback that I got was that there was a good use of camera shots that hinted at a story but did not give too much away. Several people said they found this interesting, which would encourage them to go and see it in the cinema. One of the improvements that was suggested was to include more dialogue in my trailer to help reveal a bit more about the storyline. I can understand this improvement because it is something I did want to do myself. However, like I've mentioned before, this was not achievable in this specific piece of work because I did not have access to a good enough microphone, and buying one was too expensive. But if I were to do a similar piece of work like this again, I would try and include more dialogue. A second improvement I received was to make the storyline more clear. In a way, I think this links with the lack of audio because dialogue is one of the key elements to tell the story of a trailer and to bring the story forward. And I did find it difficult to make the story clear just through the use of camera shots and music. The two final improvements I received were related to the titles in my trailer. Jago said that I should include more titles with the actor's name on because if it was a real trailer, having the audience aware of who was starring in the film might sell more tickets, which is a good point because this is something you do see in trailers. However, the other improvement regarding the titles was that Joe would have preferred animated titles. Although this is down to personal preference, I would argue against this point because in my opinion and in my research and planning, I did not find many examples of animated titles used in this specific genre. In addition to the improvements that I intend to work on, I also received a number of positive comments on my trailer, which I found reassuring because there were a few parts of the trailer that I was not sure about myself, but hearing someone else's point of view on it and hearing that they enjoyed it was very reassuring. One of the comments I received was in regards to the editing of the clips. This included my use of colour grading over the top of my shots, making it look grungy. I am pleased with this comment as it was something I deliberately done. Through my research and planning, I found that this is common to see a blue tint over the top of very dark shots, and I tried to apply this to my work. This was done using a combination of colour correctors, contrast tools and brightness adjustments. Another comment I received was that the music works well with the overall tone of the trailer. After being unsure about how this would play out without any dialogue, I was very pleased to hear that the audience did in fact enjoy the trailer with the music, because my music did have to compensate with a lack of audio. And I found it was very difficult to decide on a soundtrack for my work that I felt matched the tone I was going for. I think this proves that, although dialogue is a popular choice when it comes to trailers, it is not always essential, depending on the story you're trying to tell. But I am very pleased that the audience enjoyed the music I chose. I would not have been able to choose this music if it wasn't for my research and planning, because this allowed me to identify conventions of music that is used in action movie trailers and made it easier to find a close match to this on Audio Network. The feedback has shown me just how important research and planning was, because I used the convention of action film that I picked up on through my research and planning in my own work to make the trailer a close match to the action movie genre. And these conventions that I used were noticed by the audience in the feedback, which was very useful because it proves just how vital research and planning is when it comes to creating a piece of work like this. I think the improvements I received were generally quite positive because they are all things that can be fixed or changed fairly easily, and there was nobody that did not understand what was going on at all or disliked the trailer. I would say that the weak points of my trailer is due to lack of experience. Because this is the first filmmaking task I've carried out completely alone, which is also very positive because it means that the more experience I get working with film, the better quality products I will produce. If I were to do this project again, I would take these comments on board and start with my research and planning, looking into every single area of a film trailer, including costume, editing and characters, because this seemed to be highly effective this time around. And I would also try to fix the improvements by including more actors and more dialogue, so that the storyline is a lot clearer, maybe by seeing if I could borrow a higher quality camera or microphone to make the final product look more professional. I could even include some animated titles as well. In conclusion, the audience feedback has taught me a lot about my work, and I have learnt a lot about my target audience and my skills working with film too. I've come to realise the importance of hearing both positive comments and improvements so that I know what people enjoyed about my work, meaning I should try the same methods again, and also what people would like to have seen differently, which I'm also eager to try if it means improving my skills and making a higher quality product. I have also learnt that research and planning is very effective, as well as post-production editing. But I have also learnt that despite following conventions of a genre, due to limitations such as equipment and actors, you cannot always follow a convention exactly. However, these limitations do not mean you will not be successful in your work, as not following conventions can result in you developing new ideas that work too. The final thing I have learned from my audience feedback, and perhaps the most important thing, is that everybody will have different opinions on your work. I found this from my interview, as one person said they liked the music instead of the dialogue, but another person said they would rather hear more conversation and talking. This goes to show that you can not always please everybody in your target audience, because everybody has their own personal preferences. But despite these different opinions, ultimately, I have learned that the trailer I created was successful at appealing to my target audience and that they did enjoy it, and I'm very pleased with the final product.